Hi there, I'm Kathy Gostaspi. Got a question for you. Do you feel like you're protecting yourself with boundaries, or could they actually be walls holding you back? If you're putting up walls to protect yourself, you might actually be doing more harm than good for yourself. So in today's video, we're going to explore the difference between walls and boundaries, why walls leave you numb and stagnant, and how healthy boundaries really lead to true success and emotional freedom, which is a great brand to have. Last week, a client shared with me in our coaching session a declaration of sorts. She said she'd put up a boundary with a colleague by just not listening to him anymore. She was done. And I asked her if she felt at peace with her decision to just stop listening to him. And her response was interesting. She said she felt numb. Why do so many people instinctively put up walls, mistaking them for boundaries? Walls feel like a quick fix, a way to keep anything that might hurt us truly out. Okay. And they give a sense of control and protection, like we're doing something. While walls might seem protective, they're actually just blocking our growth, our connection, and our fulfillment, and being able to have peace at the end of the day. Healthy boundaries, on the other hand, really allow you to set a limit while staying connected to yourself and others in a healthy way. When you put up walls instead of boundaries, you shut yourself off from both negative and positive emotions. And that leaves you feeling numb and isolated. And goodness knows, after COVID, we don't need any more isolation. So this does not bring you peace, nor does it create an effective result with the other party, whoever it is. Walls are truly just barriers that don't allow you to feel or have your feelings flow. And it creates a backlog of stress, resentment, anger, making it harder to connect with yourself and with others. You're resisting and building up negative emotions, basically, is what's going to happen. And anytime you press like this and hold something down, it's going to explode at some point, right? So what makes a boundary, quote unquote, healthy as opposed to a wall? Well, healthy boundaries are intentional limits that really respect your needs and allow genuine connection with others rather than just shutting them out. And I have 4 steps to transform walls into boundaries. So let's take a look at those 4 steps and go over them together. Step number 1, identify your walls. Truly stop and look at situations where you feel closed off or overly defensive. Where are your emotions not in line? Your emotions are excessive with what's required in the situation. Are you getting mad at a situation where you really shouldn't be because it's just too extreme of a response emotionally? Find those situations. Those are the most important steps to take at first. Then I want you to really stop and assess your needs. Understand what you're truly trying to protect. Are you protecting your time, your energy, or your emotions? Odds are you're protecting all 3. However, without knowing it, it's very hard to protect things intellectually, objectively, and using emotions rationally so that you can decide whether you are, in fact, doing so and having that boundary that's healthy and it's effective or not. Third step, once you've identified your walls, you've assessed your needs, is to really set those clear boundaries. I call these the sweaty conversations, folks. It's about, now that you know what you need and know what you have to do, communicate that and communicate it in a way that's acceptable about what's acceptable. So you can't be communicating it by pointing fingers at people. This is how it's going to be. It's got to be in a way where people feel like they're part of the conversation with you. Let them know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And don't isolate yourself. That's what healthy boundaries do, as opposed to those walls, which don't do that. But this step, you guys, will require some sweaty conversations. But you're strong enough and you're powerful enough. And what's the alternative? Being miserable and being blocked off and isolated and refusing to look at yourself? If you're watching this video, I'm going to guess you are ready for some changes and you're brave enough and you're willing to look at yourself. And that's remarkable. And you're already ahead of the game. So now, step 4, after you've done the first 3 steps and had that sweaty conversation, practice self-awareness. This isn't a one and done thing. Notice again when you're putting up a wall, because it's going to feel like second nature and like it's correct. Walls are not helping you. They're not second nature. We're just so used to them because, look, sitting in front of a screen all day on a laptop is a wall too, in a sense, right? We want you to look at that, find it, and try to replace it with a healthy, balanced boundary. And just by looking at it, you're already doing the work. So those are the 4 steps that I want you to really think about taking. Now, what do these walls really look like in the workplace? Okay. They can lead to really unresolved issues, communication breakdowns, and strained relationships. So in the workplace, walls block effective communication. They make it harder to collaborate or resolve any kind of conflict productively. And it does build up over time. And of course, you know this, these walls spill over into your personal life. When we rely on walls at work, it often spills over into our personal lives. And that creates distance from loved ones. And it keeps the cycle, perpetuating cycle of numbness and discontent. And which is so frustrating, right? These cycles feel frustrating and really leave us out of control, like we have no control. So there's benefits to having healthy boundaries. I want to summarize them for you. They really do allow you to engage authentically with others and really enhance your problem-solving abilities. And at the same time, maintain that emotional harmony and balance. So you're not up here or you're not down here emotionally, you're congruent, it's authentic. And over time, this is going to then lead to, guess what? You having more self-confidence, better relationships, and in fact, reduce stress. So where should you start? So here's the easy place to start. I want you to start small to set healthy boundaries. By that, I mean, I want you to practice stating your limits gently, but firmly. And remember to check in with yourself and see if the boundary really aligns with your values. Super, super important. So in summary, here's what I want you to remember. People default to walls because they confuse them with boundaries. And it's just easier to block people off, talk to the hand, right? Rather than to deal with them effectively. And there's a huge emotional and relational costs to putting up these walls. And we looked at the 4 steps that I have to address these walls, really looking and identifying your walls, looking to see where you're closed off or defensive and be brave, assessing your needs, really, what are you trying to protect? And your right to peace and freedom and feeling good are very powerful, focused things to focus on. Set those clear boundaries, right? Communicate. Remember your tone, your body language. Keep your heart open as you speak. Feel the vibe. Remember that 90% of all communication is nonverbal and 10% is verbal. And then lastly, the 4th step we talked about was practicing that self-awareness. Keep noticing that, coming back to it, because it's not going to go away until you address it. Even though it might feel very uncomfortable, it matters, you matter, and you're worth it. Building healthy boundaries isn't about shutting people out, folks. It's about protecting your peace while you stay connected with them. When you replace walls with boundaries, you're going to notice a transformation in both your work and your life. It's going to feel effortless, free. You're going to be happier, I promise you. So take a moment to really stop and reflect. Where might you be putting up walls instead of boundaries? Be honest with yourself. You got nothing to lose except to gain happiness, peace of mind, more abundance, and probably more job security and happier relationships. So drop a comment below with one area you want to improve. And please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more insights on really having that creative, balanced brand with emotional intelligence, and share this message with others you think could benefit. And until next time, Kathy G out.